Let's go.
Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by DrRoto.com.
So let's get to it.
Bring the bang!
What's up, everybody? It's Heat Override, and I'm ready to bring the pain for you and Dr. Roto this week. Ooh, yeah! We're already on fire. Steve's got some NBA stuff going on, but the UFC, 2 straight knockouts in a row. It is already on fire. The Fight Club of Pain was an amazing show. We just got done, but Dan was sick, and we had to get it. We couldn't do it until right before the event. So, how you doing, Steve?
I'm hanging in there. I'm not feeling great myself, and I moved this week and NBA, so it's been a wild week. But I'm hanging in there, and I know you got a busy schedule too. But I'm with the NBA, we're in full swing now, and man, that 11 game slate last night. But anyway, I'm trying to do my NBA, but we gotta do the NFL because we're getting down to it, man. I can't believe we're in week 14 already. It's just nuts. I mean, the season seems to just fly by, and so I'm just trying to give everybody the best advice I can for both NBA and for football, and
it's hard, man. I know. Dude, when baseball and football and now UFC, it's hard. Like, so for me, it's practically, and now that you got your place and you can get things more situated, you'll get your schedule. So it just sucks that a lot of the things just, it happens. It's life. It's life. But that's why we're here. That's why we do what we do at Dr. Roto.
That's right. Yeah, and just a shout out to Dr. Roto, we've been killing it. Willie's been killing it in NBA. You've been killing it in UFC. We're all doing really well. And as we said, we admit our mistakes, no one likes to be wrong, but again, if we were right every time, we may not be giving you all advice. We might be on the beach in Cabo somewhere with our millions of dollars.
That's right.
No, but that's what so we do our best, and hey, I'm getting thanked in Discord. You get thanked in Discord, giving people good advice, and we do the best we can. And it is hard, NFL, big slates, NBA, like I said, 11 game slates in NBA are just,
it's just brutal.
It's just crazy in DFS. And that's why I tell people, start asking, Steve Bell, he does all the pick six stuff and the stuff. And that's where I'm writing a strategy article actually coming up for NBA DFS, and on those big slates, maybe stick to those pick six and stuff. Stick to the underdog, stick to the player props, as opposed to trying to fill out a DFS lineup and compete with all the pros and all the algorithms that are going to find those value guys, And so those are the nights I like to pick six, but we're here to talk about NFL, man. I'm excited. We're getting down to it. Playoffs. They're right around the corner.
Yeah, it's seasonal, man. We're gonna definitely get to this. So everybody that's getting in here, if you haven't watched the Ultra Contrarian show, of course, I name some players that I'm gonna play, that I'm highlighting in most of my lineups. And then that way they give you a good price break. And in my opinion, we'll have a good day and to give you a cash game lineup. That's what the Ultra Contrarian lineups are. At the end of this, you will get an Ultra Contrarian lineup. You get one for FanDuel, one for DraftKings. You'll get Steve's lineup, and you will also get a DFS hero lineup. But we have already been hitting it live from the Fight Club of Pain. So I got to get back out there and watch some UFC because that's all fight tape that I need. So we're going to bang this episode out. We're going to get some numbers. We're going to get some plays. We're going to get you guys some money tomorrow. Let's make everybody our rich friend. Speaking of which, get over to Dr. Roto. Use code word WIN. and get a percentage off of your subscription. Also, if you head over to DFS Hero and use code WORKDOC, you will get a percentage off of that site as well as going to, hey, if you're feeling down, say the world's got you chasing all over the place and you don't have the energy of Heat Override. Oh, yeah. This is what you got to do. You got to go over to W Energy. Use code word, bring the energy. Kind of like my shirt, feel the energy, but you're going to bring the energy. And you'll get a 10% off of your W order. It is no dies. It's all 100% awesome. You want to be part of that place. But let's get to it. Let's get to NFL Week 4 DFS plays. Jordan Love starts off my week. I love Jordan Love. 5,900 on DraftKings, 7,400 on FanDuel. And before I talk about him, I'll give a couple other plays. My high end, I have a Josh Allen lineup. I'm all in on Josh Allen. And of course, Tyrod Taylor's my low end. But I had so much money left over from all the cheap receivers that I can get in, because most people will be on them, but this is what it's about, to cash, that I had enough money for Jordan Love. I like that he's at home. I like that he's got some of his team together and that he's been hitting it big. Christian Watson should have a big game today. Doc gave me a little balls. I gave him a peek of the Ultra Contrarian lineup, and he goes, "You're running Jordan Love naked?" I said, "I'm running Jordan Love naked on the Ultra Contrarian lineup, but I do have him paired with Watson and Jacobs as well." What are a few guys you were looking at?
Yeah, well, I do like Love. In the GPP, I wouldn't run him naked. I would go either Watson or Dowds. To offset it. I bet you Jordan Love is sexy naked. Wild
stuff up in this.
Yeah, so like I have a lineup here with Love, but I got him paired with Watson. And then in this one I have Watson and Jacobs in the lineup. And I don't think in GPPs you need to run back anyone from Chicago. So if you do a Love lineup, you could do Love, pair him with Watson, or save a few bucks with Dowds and pair him with Jacobs. And GPPs, you probably don't have to run him back. I also like Brissett again. He's excuse me.
Matchup.
Let me click on the right one here.
He's got a great matchup. 5,700 against my Rams.
He does. And then you compare him with Wilson again. He was my Fuego pick of the week. He let us down, but Harrison's out. I think he has a bounce back week, so you could pair him with that. I do like Allen. You could pay up for Allen this week. I mean, he should have a big game in Cincinnati. But at 7,700, if you pay for Love at 59 on DK, that's an $1,800 savings. You can upgrade somewhere else. If you pay for what was Brissett, I think 57. Yeah. So then you're saving even a couple more dollars, where you can get some of those higher priced guys in your lineup. But right. Allen, if you're going to play a high end, I would say Allen. Lamar, I love my boy Lamar, but he has not had some great games recently.
Yeah. I get worried about those NFC North games.
Yeah, exactly. They're not 100% out of the playoffs, but they're not. So it's. I would say if you're going to play high end, you go Allen. Stafford's still having a great year. You could play him, but Allen would be the high. And then Love, Mayfield, Brissett, those kind of Lawrence, I would drop down to that range if I was playing in a GPP.
Yeah. I mean, those are the guys that, people won't be looking at. So what we're going to do with some of that money, we're going to move along. And of course, I have a Josh Allen lineup, because James Cook is my highlighted running back at 7,800 on DraftKings. He is pricey on FanDuel, so you're going to have to use him as one of your higher end running backs on FanDuel, but I'm fine with that. When you get to the Ultra Contrarian lineup, you'll see why. But at high end, we could go Taylor, we could go Bijan Robinson. I don't like Robinson. I know Seattle has a good defense, so I like my high end is going to be Achane, And then I like Cook. I'm going to fly down, of course, the macho pick of the week. Ooh, yeah. It's Chase Brown. I like his price, 6,700. That Buffalo game's going to blow up. That's why I have a line. That's why I have my Bills and I have my Bengals together on that stack as well, too. But I got a few ways I wanted to go with this lineup, but most of my lineups include those games right there. And, of course, my beloved Rams, because, this is all about Ram Nation up in here. So, low end, I'm only really looking at, I'll just run it back with Devin Neal again, which is 5,100 in a high-scoring game. Could be high-scoring game. He got decent work last game, around 10, 11 points. Well, we could get that. Yeah, 10 points on DraftKings. So for me, if he gets a touchdown, 16, 17, 5,100, that's a nice pivot. But outside of that, who are a few of the guys that you were looking at?
I'm going back and forth on Chase Brown. He's been doing really well. I like him, especially if you're playing Allen.
Mm-hmm.
If you're playing Allen in a GPP, definitely run it back with Chase Brown, because, he's still getting the attempts, 15, 19, 18, the past 3 weeks. Targets, he had 7 receptions on 7 targets last week. Still not seeing the touchdowns. That's my concern. But I do like Brown. I love Cook. I love Cook this week, going up against Cincinnati, one of the worst, if not the worst, run defense. When you look at his numbers, he has the numbers. 22.7 DK points, 24.9, 20. He had an 11, a 16, a 36. Those are all since his bye week. And his attempts, 32 attempts last week, 17, 16, 13, 27, 29, averaging he's got 9 touchdowns on the year, 1,228 yards, averaging 102 yards a game, 20 DK points, still catching the ball a little bit. I mean, look at these last 3 catches, 3 targets, 3 catches, 3 targets, 3 catches, 3 targets, 5 catches, 5 targets. He's catching everything, so you throw those extra yards in there. I love James Cook. I really love James Cook. And we always talk about me, liking to do 2 lineups or 3, in the 3 max. Oops, I keep clicking on the wrong one here. In the other one, I love a chain. I mean, you can get, if you play Brissett, you can get the chain and Cook in. And a chain's a juicy matchup against the Jets. Really juicy. And his points are charts right now. 10 touchdowns for the year, averaging 22.2 DK points, 22 attempts last week for 134 yards. The bye the week before, 21 for 120, 22 for 174. So look at this. That's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 400 some yards in the past 3 games. His targets, he's great. I mean, he's got 10 touchdowns. So in my percent lineup, I actually got a chain and Cook in there. And then, of course, I think everybody really likes Jacobs this week. Jacobs, again, in that love lineup we talked about, you could play Jacobs against Chicago D. He's not my favorite. I think some people like him more than I do, just because I don't think he has quite as much of that upside as in a chain or a Cook or something like that. But hey, he's 11 touchdowns on the year. Chicago, we know, is not very good. His average per carry the past 4.9, 5.7, 5.1 a couple weeks ago. He doesn't catch too many passes, or he hasn't recently, but 11 touchdowns and 17.4. But I just don't love him as much as I think some other people do.
Yeah. I agree with all that as well too. There's just a different couple guys we could go with when we get to the Ultra Contrarian lineup. I have a guy that we haven't talked about yet, but we'll get mentioned on that one. So let's move along. Well, this was an easy one for me. I went with Michael Wilson as my highlighted wide receiver, and that, of course, is because Marvin Harris Jr. is out. And he was my actual receiver when I saw Dortch all banged up. So I knew Dortch was going to be out. That means I followed straight over, went right to Wilson, and then now we got Marvin Harrison Jr. out. I am totally excited. 5,600 on DraftKings, 57.50. He came all the way down on FanDuel, 5,700 on FanDuel. That's a steal. That's like a free spot. So I'm definitely going to have him everywhere.
They think he had a bad game, so they dropped his price?
Yeah. That's why FanDuel, but DK didn't do it much. DK only did a couple. So that means now we're on the FanDuel side. FanDuel dropped him. I think he was 61 or 63. I think he was 63 last week. So now we don't know. I think he was 71 only 2 weeks ago too. Or something. Wow. Anyway. But regardless of that, that's my guy that I'm looking at on wide receivers. I do love Christian Watson. When I go high end, I'm going Jamar Chase. I feel that Buffalo game is going to be big. So that's going to be a big part of how I'm going to run back my Josh Allen and James Cook lineups. Low end, I gave you Wilson. I have another guy on the Ultra Contrarian lineup that I'll mention when we get to that. Outside that, who were you looking at?
I just I wanted to pull up one thing here. You know how I'm always doing 8 things at once. So Wilson, perfect play again. He was my Fuego pick last week. Didn't work out, but like you said, Harrison out. Good matchup. He got 7 targets last week. He only caught 3 of them. So that was the problem. And Harrison was there. McBride had a big game. But now without Harrison, he's going to get targets. And we already talked about the 2 weeks before. We had 15 and 18 targets. Yeah. So I think he jumps back to over 10 targets. I think he makes the catches. He only has 1 touchdown on the year. Maybe he can get in the end zone this week. So I do like Michael Wilson a lot. If I'm playing that love lineup, like I said, Watson or Dowds, Watson had 18.3 DK points, and he only caught 4 of his 10 targets last week.
He's a bomb dude. He's a bomb guy. He catches long passes. That's why I like him. I've been sneaking on him for weeks.
That's right. And he's and he's been progressing. He came back in week 8. And he's been progressing well. His targets have risen, and he's had, 2 of the last 3 weeks, 18.3 and 20.6 points. So he's a great play. Egbuka has let us down a little bit recently. It's hard not to go back to him again, though. I mean, it's just really hard. He's had some really down games, but does he come back versus New Orleans at home this week?
You would think, but New Orleans defense is strong. So for me, if New Orleans plays that strong type like they did last week and they've been hot recently, they stay hot. That's going to be a 24, maybe 17, 24-13 win for the Bucks. But I don't know how much work that's going to be for Ibuka. He's going to have to score to make itself, but he is cheap. I mean, 6,300. It's nice, but.
And then one more guy who I like, and I'm not going to call this a homer pick, is Zay Flowers. Yeah. All right. So he's only 6,100 on DK. He did not have a great game last week, only 1.6 points. The Ravens lost. After winning 5 in a row, the Ravens had a letdown game against Cincinnati. He only caught 2 of 7 targets for 6 yards. He still only has 1 touchdown. We all know he's not a big touchdown guy, but there's things called regression, people. This chair. It's not this chair. Yeah. So, and we know Pittsburgh, it is a divisional game, but it's a big game because technically the Ravens are not out of it yet. They are not technically out.
They're not.
It's the NFL. Anything can happen. And we know the Ravens are a good team. All right. Mm-hmm. So I really like Zay Flowers, 6,100. He's got 60 receptions for 767 yards. He's had all double-digit points except for last week, but he still hasn't hit that big, 20 because he doesn't score a lot. Well,
Yeah.
I think maybe he gets that score this week, and going against the 30th ranked passing defense, I really like my boy Zay.
Yeah, I like that too. Yeah, there's going to be definitely some sways too. You know, when we get to one of the guys, I will talk about the sway that we could do that because I just literally threw in a little lineup here right now to kind of work with what kind of the idea was and to work off of what I'm saying and what off of you've been talking about. But man, when we move along to tight end, I'm back on him. Colby Parkinson last week had his touchdown stolen from him, intercepted from him, but it showed that they were willing to give him another end zone look. His price came up. DK 3,100, FanDuel 5,000. But that's fine. I'm fine with paying that. Outside of that, I would look to go down to Gunnar Helm. I like him. He's been getting constant work. He's got 2 games in a row with 7 targets each. He is that 2,900. But, you know, I'm going to be between Parkinson and Helm. I don't really think I'm going to be paying up for McBride. So that's where I'm at. Who are you looking at for tight end?
Yeah, I mean, McBride's price is now up to $8,000 on DK. Now, I get it because he's averaging 19.2 DK points. He has 88 receptions for 879 yards and 8 touchdowns. 8,000. That is just a monster number. But, you know, I mean, if he scores 22 and 30 points like these running backs and receivers, it's worth it. But that is just, do you know, not according to this, he started, sorry, clicking on the wrong thing. Do you know off the top of your head approximately what his price was in the beginning of the year on DK?
I will say 5,700.
He was 56, 58, 55, 57 for after the bye.
To the nuts.
After the bye, they only went to 6,000, 6,063, 68. Finally, last week they popped him to 78, and now he's 8,000. I mean, I don't know what their algorithms are doing, but I mean, so now we're at the point though. Do we pay that 8,000? It's not 6,800 anymore.
Yeah,
8,000. I mean, 8,000 is, but I mean, he is a top of the line player. I just don't know if I want to pay that much. I don't think I want to pay the 6,000 for Bowers either. Though if you do, that's a good $2,000 savings off of McBride.
Yeah.
And then I like all the guys. I think you can go under that $4,000 range and be good. You can go Fannin. You can go Hawkinson. You can go Barner on Seattle. Parkinson, like you said. You know, you could even try Loveland if you're playing a Green Bay lineup and you want someone on Chicago or Loveland. But Isaiah Likely for the Ravens, he's getting the targets again. So there's all those guys in the under $4,000 where we can save money, we can play. But I like Fannin, and our boy Taylor's back. I don't know how great Mason Taylor,
but I mean, those other guys that we named, there's no reason. Like, people want to sway to Taylor, that's fine. Tyrod Taylor's there, that's fine. But for me, I don't think we need it. I don't want to go to teams that suck.
And Parkinson's a great play to run back if you're playing Brissett too, because he's going. Arizona does not defend the tight end, so if you play Parkinson going back against Brissett, that leaves you room to move elsewhere.
That's right. That's what we're talking about, man. All right, well, let's save some money. Let's move along to the defense. Defense, we all know I punted, but in the last game against the Denver Broncos, the Raiders, 10-7. So we're going with the Raiders, cheap, $2,000 on DraftKings, and it's $3,100 on FanDuel. I am all in on those numbers right there. That's giving me the savings I need. I did say the Saints earlier. I do like the Saints, and if you want to get sneaky and you want to pay up, you can look at the Packers. But overall, I think the Rams are still going to bring the pain. But I'm paying down. I need to get these offensive players in and I'm willing to take the chance with the Raiders defense because he's just in their last games, 4 points, 5 points, 2 points, 10 points, 2 points. I'm fine with that. They got 10 points against the Broncos, and the Broncos don't seem to play football all the time. So I'm fine with that for 2,000 points. Who are you looking?
Why not play the Raiders? There's just, we talk about this all the time. Paying down for defense is the way to do it. You just don't know again, we've talked about this. You want teams that get sacks. You got that get interceptions because those lead to defensive touchdowns, which is where you get those big points in defense. But the Raiders, I think it's completely fine to play for them. You could the Saints against Tampa Bay. I don't love, but you could play them 2,300. That's not horrible. That's not horrible.
No, it's not at all.
Falcons are at home. Seattle's good, but the Falcons at 2,500. They have 41 sacks on the year, 9 interceptions, averaging 7 DK points. And hey, man, if you want, go ahead and play the Steelers against my Ravens. There's a very good chance they could score some. I'm just saying, you could play them, Lamar. You could.
That's one of those. Okay, so my theory, and it really just always seems to happen. The AFC North games are always drowned, dirty, right? The Steelers and the Ravens always have one game that makes no sense, and it's a defensive game. And then they have one game that offense just goes off. So that's kind of what you're looking at. That's the theory that you would be going into right now to play on that side. I love it, man. But you know what I love even more?
I think this is going to be one of those offensive games, but we know what Lamar can do. Sometimes he holds on to that ball too long. He could throw a pick six. He does one of those run around things and he fumbles and the other team scores. So this, I think, would be a high scoring game, but you could also play their defense is basically what I'm saying, dude. As much as I love Lamar and all of our Baltimore fans, sometimes we just get frustrated. We're like, but he's so good. He just wants to make that play, but just sometimes just throw it away, take the knee, instead of
down.
You gotta, he's getting better, but he just wants to make that play so bad, so.
Yeah, we got it. It's good. But we have even better news. The Fight Club of Pain is unbeaten so far. We just already cashed the 3-leg parlays that we had and we talked about, and we just got another finish. We got Baranowski, got the knockout. We have 3 knockouts in a row. Again, this is, and I love everything we do, but the UFC product at Dr. Roto, I don't think there's many that can come close to what we've been doing and what the preach that Dan and I have been able to do with that show. And it shows that, we're getting eyes again, going back to being able to interview Julius Juicebox Walker today. And I'll have that podcast up. I mean, he's fighting February at UFC Vegas 113. So we'll get back on. I just wanted to throw that in because I just looked down and I just saw my bank account growing and growing. And I'm like, yeah, best in the biz. It's what we do. We have the right cure for all of your fantasy needs, people. Bring the pain. All right, Steve. It's time for your core 4 and your Fuego pick of the week, followed by your lineup.
All right, hold on here. All right. Now, keep in mind, everyone, I just want to give a caveat. Check Discord. This is the week that some things may change tonight. It's a big slate, and, with my move and all that stuff. So just pay attention because this could switch up. I don't like to switch it up on you guys. And if I do, I like to at least give it early enough for you guys to know. Because as we were talking again, you make me want to come down to Parkinson in my one lineup and upgrade to maybe do a double tight end with maybe Parkinson and Bowers or something like that. But
that's wild.
You like that one?
It is. Like, I could see Parkinson and even just going with, Trey McBride. Like, I like that too. But of course, we just talked about that. Why would you do McBride when for $200 less you could have Cook? You could kind of run it off of that. If the Rams stomp them out, which after we got last week, and Doc feels, he kept saying today, Stafford, 3 to 4 touchdowns, Stafford. So just take it for what you're worth. Once they get up, the Rams defense, pass rush starts sacking them out. It's going to be a long day, but Brissett can get some points. The Rams were exposed last week on 4th down by the Panthers. It was a lot of those 4th down plays that went for touchdown that really caught the Rams off guard, and that helped. And of course, the pick 6, and that's what helped Carolina seal the deals. So, and of course, that fumble at the end. I don't even.
Yeah, speaking of, I am going to go with Brissett in my core 4. I'm gonna go with Brissett. He's been hot. Middle of the road defense. It's at home, which is always good. But he's just been on fire. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight games over 20 DK points. And he's 5,700 compared to 77 for Josh Allen. And his attempts, we always talk about, minutes in basketball and attempts for running backs. His attempts, 40, 49, 57, 44, 31, 36, 44. I mean, some of these quarterbacks, they're lucky to do 25 attempts a game sometimes, and he's just throwing it. Obviously, because their running game, they've had injuries and they've lacked that. So I'm putting Brissett in my core 4. And you know what? Let's go back to Wilson. I'm going to put Wilson in my core 4 too. Harrison's out. McBride should have a big game, but I think Wilson bounces back. I think he bounces back, like I just said, to over 10 targets, and I will pair him up with Brissett. And, I really like this lineup. So, you know what? I'm going to Chain. Let's put a Chain in, man. He is just so good. 22.2 DK points. His attempts, and these are the attempts we want for running backs: 22, 21, 22. And when he's not getting those attempts, when they're down, 10 targets a game, 6 targets, 5 targets, 6. Look at, but last week he only had 1, but before the bye, 5, 6, 10, 7, 6, 5, 6, 7 targets, 9 targets, 10 targets in the passing game. So that's the other thing we love about running backs. I despise 2-down running backs and then bring in that third, or a guy that only is in there to run. They're never going to throw him a screen pass, or they're never going to. He does it all. 10 touchdowns on the year. Get him in your lineups. Brissett, Wilson, who's my 4th? This is a tough one. You know what? I don't know. Let's call it. Let's go with Zay Flowers. Call it a homer pick. Put him in there.
I love it, dude.
Put him in your lineup. Get Zay Flowers in there. He bounces back against Pittsburgh. It's at home in Baltimore. Baltimore, these rivalries. I haven't been to a game in a while, Steelers Ravens game, but they're always so fun. And again, like we said, even if it's a grinded out game, I think Flowers is going to have his opportunities. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully he doesn't get tackled at the 2 or 3, and then Henry runs in. Maybe he gets into the end zone this week. Again, we talk about regression. Only 1 touchdown, 60 receptions, 767 yards, and only 1 touchdown. He should have another touchdown or 2 in there. And even the Doc said the year. I think we all talked about it being a year. This is the year we thought he would get in the end zone a little more.
Yeah, I thought he was going to get it. I did a whole article on him. I think it was around 7 or 8. And
correct. He had 4 last year.
Get that now.
Correct. So you know what? I think he gets in this week, and so put him in. And the Fuego pick of the week. You ready?
Yeah, buddy. Hit it up.
I'm going James Cook. Get him in any way you can. He's not that expensive. 7,800 on DK. I mean, we just talked about, the price tags for some of these other guys. He's less than McBride, and he's guaranteed to get the ball. 32 attempts this week. 32. And if they get up early against Cincinnati, which we know Josh Allen do, we know they can get up early. I don't know if Cincinnati, now obviously Cincinnati they have Chase and Higgins and Brown, so they've got some firepower. But if they can get up early, they're going to feed Cook, and then they're not going to be able to stop him. They're not going to be able to stop him. So let's just hope Josh Allen, well, for my sake, in this particular lineup, doesn't do those little quarterback sneakies he loves to do. Gets into the
it's coming.
Give it to Cook. But I think Cook, that's my Fuego pick. He may be highly owned. That's fine. Don't worry about it. But, I mean, just the price tag at 7,800. I think Jonathan Taylor, what's he, 87, 80?
He's 93. He's 93.
What's he?
He's 93.
Exactly. So you're taking 1,500. And I think he can do just as well, if not better. And then in this lineup, I got a Chain and Cook in there. So then you're talking two high running backs. So play James Cook. Fuego pick of the week. Mark it down.
And it just for that comment for Austin, JT, or Bijan, I will say that I do like JT is on the road in Jacksonville, and Jacksonville's defense hasn't been giving up many yards. They are in the top 10 of my NFL defensive rankings at Dr. Roto. So that being said, when you look at Seattle's going to come in there. They're clearly the better team. They have to keep up with the Rams if the Rams are going to lose, but they don't want to lose to Atlanta, right? And that Seattle's defense is legit too. And I think I just saw that Julian Love practiced or was activated. So he's going to be back now. Now you're looking at this defense getting stronger, defense getting captains back like that. I love these guys' skill, but if Seattle turns this into a running game and they turn it into a running game, that game is going to be over super fast. It's really hard. So for DFS wise, that's why I leaned, in my opinion, towards Achane, and that's what it is. But if you're picking solely between those two, I'm just going to go with Indianapolis. I'm going to go with JT. They've been playing better, and I trust that offense with more healthier receivers. Pittman, Downs, Pierce, Warren, Taylor. You got Jones. Jones has been playing with a chip on his shoulder. He didn't do too well last week. I'm taking JT, brother. That's how we do it. What's your lineup of the week?
Well, the one that I was just talking about, which I actually changed as we were talking, like I did, I'm going Brissett at quarterback. Mm-hmm. I'm going Achane at running back. I'm going Cook at running back. I'm going Downs on Green Bay at 4,900. Save the money. He should have. He's decent enough. He's going against Chicago. You can save the money there. I'm going Flowers. I'm pairing Wilson with Brissett. And I was going to go Fannin, but instead I dropped down to Parkinson, ran him back against Arizona, threw in Bowers for the double tight end little play there in the GPP, and the Raiders did. But if you didn't want to do that, you could put in someone else besides Bowers. I'm not big on Thomas Jr. this week, but but you could, maybe go up to Fannin and drop down to maybe Pittman or Metcalf if you liked him. But in that particular lineup, that's how I'm rolling with that one.
I love it. All right, let's get over to the DFS hero lineup that I just simulated. We got Daniels, Cook, Gianti, Burden. There's your guy. With the lineup I was creating while we were talking and looking at that, I could either go with Burden or I could go with Dontavian Wicks. I know Wicks had a big game last week and people would call it chasing points, but when they have Watson and Wicks, the Packers just click. It takes from Jacobs. people ask why I'm playing. When Doc asked why I'm playing a naked Love, it's because I don't trust everybody in that offense. Yeah, Dobbs had a great week with 3 touchdowns, right? And then you got Wicks going with 2 touchdowns last week. What is it? Who is it this week? Is it Golden? He comes in and he catches a 60-yard bomb, and that's all he does, and it takes away from the other guys. I'm not playing that game. I do love the Burden pick, and I do love the Wicks pick. So I'm just only mentioning that for that lineup right there. The lineup is rounded out with Wilson, Nakua, Pitts, Tyler Warren, and the Commanders' defense. It's not bad. I like it. Double tight end, just kind of like what you were looking at.
No, I like it. I like it quite a bit. Yeah, and I was working on a Love lineup too, where you could do, you could get Watson, Cook, you go Brown, Flowers, Leota, Parkinson, you go Irving. You could upgrade. You could go Derrick Henry. He could have a good game. I know you like Irving. How do you think? Before we close it out, what's your take on Justin Jefferson this week? Washington does not have a good pass D, but Jefferson's just been such a Jefferson. Do you think he's going to bounce back? Just real quick before we get out of here.
Well, I still have to do the Ultra Contrarian lineups, and I was faced with that during the Ultra Contrarian lineups, and I changed it because the guy I had was Bucky Irving. I swayed from Jefferson to Bucky Irving. So
okay,
I'll give out this lineup that I kind of did. Brissett, Achane, Cook, Flowers, Michael Wilson. I have Wicks or Burden, Parkinson, Irving, Bucky Irving, and the Raiders defense. Now let's get to it. Let's get to the...
Ooh, yeah, it's time for the Ultra Contrarian lineups, the cream of the crop. Yeah, we're going to get some cash, people. Yeah.
We're starting with DraftKings. Love, Cook, Chase Brown, Wilson, Jamar Chase. Told you I was going to get him in there. Burden, Gunnar Helm. I had to come off of Parkinson, unfortunately, because I went with Bucky Irving. If you want to get that $100, flip it on down. You can play what you want. Raiders defense. That's who I like and who I am playing on DraftKings. Over to FanDuel. Love, Cook, Chase Brown, Jamar Chase. We got Michael Wilson, Burden, Parkinson, Bucky Irving. Raiders defense, like I said for the last 5 years on Dr. Roto, I somehow always make the Ultra Contrarian lineups match. That's how you bring the pain. What do you think about those, buddy?
I love them.
There's your Bucky Irving, bro. When you were talking about Egbuka.
Yeah. No, I like Bucky Irving. I had him messing around with him earlier. I didn't mention our rankings this week, but everyone check out our rankings. I think we have him pretty high in our rankings as well. So yeah, I like that lineup. I like that, especially for cash games. Anyway, go ahead. I'm just I put in the DFS Discord underdog lineup for the 5 o'clock NBA game. Hit 4 of 6 and just missed 5 of 6. Alvarado needed 9.5 points. He got 9, but hit 4 of 6 on that. So I was just they just ended it. I was like, oh man, it would have
That's
and those
brutal,
things.
Man.
And my other one, oh man, yeah, but that's gets annoying. But hey, I think they still pay something out of 4 or 6, but it ain't much.
yeah, but you know what? The thing is just like why I've been teaching the round robin. It's because apparently we don't need a round robin today because the Fight Club of Pain is hitting everything. However, that being said, when I go 4-1 on my money line parlay from last week, my 4-1, it was the parlay of pain was 4-1 last week, and the 5-tastic picks parlay that I put, all these lineups are in the subs only Discord, went 5-0, 5-0. So if you do the math, that's 13-2. If you played those as single bets, this is why I don't count units when it comes to UFC. We already had an under in the Turner fight. That's why we focused on that fight as well too. You want to win money, play UFC and basketball on Saturdays. and then take it and blow it on the NFL and throw in $1 in a dream, and maybe we can all become our rich friends. Right, Steve?
That's right. And that's the way we do it. That's why we like to give out all the sports, because we all know we love to play them all. And
that's right. That's right.
You know, it's just the way it is. And, you know, obviously get over there. If you have any season-long questions, your playoffs are coming up. We got that for you at Dr. Roto as well. You know, and I'll have a couple late night lineups in for NBA tonight as well.
Yeah. And you got, dude, people, go join Dr. Roto. Literally just got more wins. Like, okay, whatever. You could say that we suck, but when I go blast everything all over the X and all over Facebook and all over social media, don't say, hey, we didn't tell you so. Don't say we didn't try to make you our rich friend. And don't say we don't have the right gear for any fantasy sport need, because that's what we do with Dr. Roto. That's how we bring the pain. Thank you, Steve. I know your life has been crazy moving. I ain't ready out, but
one last shout out. We also have college football. Shout out to my JMU Dukes, baby. Baby. JMU Sunbelt champions. All right. So, yeah, we got it all for you guys. Get over to Dr. Roto, subscribe, and we'll help you win money.
And always remember to bring the Fuego. Ooh, yeah.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. Until the next visit,